Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA Veteran Damacio Page. Damacio, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Damacio, you got a fight coming up June 13th at Legacy FC 31. How's training been going for the fight?
It's been going good, just trying to stay active, keep my body together now that I'm getting a little older, just trying to keep on functioning like a younger fighter.
Now, you're training out of Jackson Winklejohn, like always. You've been there. You're one of the original guys there. When we think of that gym, we think of Diego Sanchez, Rashad Evans, Keith Jardine in the early days, and then you're one of the OGs of that gym. I'm just curious, and I've always been curious about this. How different or how similar are things in the gym all these years? All the years you've been around there, what's remained the same and what's changed dramatically?
You know what? The thing that's always stayed the same is the competition, and everybody's always getting better there. We've never plateaued. We're always reaching for something. Everybody's trying to be a champion, so everybody's always pushing each other, and we're always learning new things, so we're constantly evolving in our gym, so that's never changed. I think just there's more people coming in and out of the gym, so it's becoming like we're still a family, I would say, but we got little families within our family, Like now we have like cousins, cousins are over here, talking over here, hanging out with these cousins or whatever, It's like the thing I think has changed is we just got a lot more guys in the gym, and we're just more of an extended family.
Now, with you being at the gym for so long and being one of the original guys, do you have a big role on the team? Like, are you a coach at the gym? Are you a trainer at the gym? Do you have a role, or are you just a fighter that trains there?
I do coach here and there. Greg labels me and Cowboy Sony as the lightweight captain, and so we try to handle things between us, but everybody has a say so. I would like to say that I'm probably me and Cowboy Sony are probably more the captains of the lightweight.
Oh. I see. Now, I haven't heard about it in a long time, but a few years ago, we heard about how Jackson's was starting to do a belt system for mixed martial arts. I'm just curious, is that still something that happens? Do they still hand out belts when someone earns them for mixed martial arts? And if so, do you have a black belt?
No, I don't have a black belt. Greg says I have a brown belt.
Oh.
So, usually when you do achieve your black belt, he has a little dinner at his house, and he invites the other black belts, and you get your award, your belt, and your certificate.
What's the curriculum? What do you have to do to become a black belt? Do you have to be a pro fighter? Do you have to get in the cage? Do you have to be someone like that? Or can you earn a belt with just being a regular civilian?
Yeah, it can be a regular civilian. It's like anything, like any other belt system. You have to, you don't necessarily have to be a professional fighter. There's a couple guys that are Greg Jackson black belt that do not fight. I think it's just a curriculum that we know. I've been doing it for so long, I know a lot of stuff. I know a lot of his moves. I do forget them, but they come back real quick when I'm reviewing. I think I'm pretty much borderline. I think it's just my biggest hole is actually the control part. I think that's what we're trying to fix. I think I'm pretty close to my black belt because of that.
I see. Now, you were one of the assistant coaches for Team Jackson on Fight Master, the Bellator reality show. I'm just curious, how was that experience?
It was good. I try to stay away from the camera as much as possible. I didn't want to. It's for the guys. You know what I'm saying? The show's for the guys, and it's not for me to say, "Hey, I'm Damacio Page. I'm the coach," and I don't need to put my 2 cents in. All I gotta do is train my guys and teach them, and hopefully they follow the game plan in their fights. It's about them and building a career for them, or bringing a career back for them.
I see. Now, I'm just curious. Obviously, your goal is to make it back to the UFC, but when you were on that show coaching those guys, did Bjorn Rebney or Sam Kaplan or any of the guys there say, "Hey, you know what, Damacio, let's try to work out a deal"? Was there anything like that?
No, there wasn't. Like I said, I kind of tried to stay back, and I spoke to Rebney and all those guys, and they're cool guys. They're cool. I have nothing bad to say about them. I talked to Joe Warren. Joe Warren's a character. He's funny. And and he was always trying to get me and telling me, hey, you need to get a Bellator, you need to do this, you need to do that. You know, but I still believe I can make it in the UFC, and that's my ultimate goal.
Okay, I see. I was just curious about that. Now, coming up on June 13th, you're going to be taking on Elise Garcia. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
You know, he's very durable. He's an aggressive fighter. He has heavy hands for a 125er. He's in condition, and he just really pushes the pace. He's just a forward fighter, and he's just trying to knock your head off.
Now, after your last fight, you said that you would like a fight against Henry Cejudo for the belt, for Legacy. The fight was set; it was made. But also, when you were kind of respectfully calling him out, whatever you were trying to do, you said that you weren't going to wait around for him. If Legacy said you were going to fight someone else and not him, you were going to take it. Obviously, now the situation is you're settling for Plan B. You have a fight against someone else, and it's not for the gold. But are you a little bit disappointed that you're not fighting Cejudo for the belt right now? Because that would be a big fight for you. A win over him. He's an undefeated guy. It's for a belt. We've seen fighters from that organization who have won a belt go back or get that first chance in the UFC. So, are you a little bit disappointed that you aren't fighting Cejudo on June 13th?
Right now, I'm not really focused on that. His issues are his issues. I got to do what I have to do, and after the fight's over, then I could really sit back and think about it, and then I could start spitting out words on how I feel. Right now, I'm just he's not even part of my focus. It would have been great to fight a gold medalist, but he's not even in my sentence or in my book or in my vocabulary right now.
Oh, I see. Now you're dropping down to 125 pounds. You fought a majority of your career at bantamweight, but now you're making the drop down to flyweight. I'm just curious, why are you making the move? Is it a more natural weight class for you, and now that weight class is developed, or is it something where you're trying to get a spark? Maybe this is the way to get back into the big show. What's the plan here? Why exactly are you dropping down in weight?
A little bit of both. I've never made 125. I adjusted my diet. I'm down to 140 right now. The guys at 135 are getting huge now. Before I was always an average size 135er, but now they're just big. Now I'm a small 35er. Gordo Perez, he easily walks around 160, 165, and then he gets down to 135. And the biggest I get when I'm in shape at 135 was 149, 148. So I constantly adjusted my weight and my eating habits, and I lost 8 to 10 pounds. And I'm as small as I've ever been. I'm the same size I was when I was in high school, wrestling at 130. And so I know I can make 125s from this weight because I have the experience. I know how to cut weight, and I'm a little more educated too on how to do it.
Now, your last fight, I believe, was fought at a catch weight of 130. How was that, making that drop down there?
It was good. I still had energy. I could have cut a few more pounds. I wanted to, but my manager was like, don't do it. It's not worth it. Just make the 130. You can make lower weight. Just do what you did and get rehydrated. I was like, all right, cool. That makes sense. And just make the 130 and rehydrate. I kind of wanted to do it just to prove a point. And my manager's like, there's no point to be proven right now. It's 130. You made 130. It's just worry about the fight. You don't really need to add extra suffering to yourself.
I see. Now, when exactly did you start thinking about a potential move in weight class? When did you really realize that this is something that's possible and I'm willing to do it? When did that come into your mind?
You know what? I fought my first fight for Legacy at 135, and then I fought in Switzerland. The guy didn't even make weight.
Yeah.
Like 7 pounds overweight. It was supposed to be an exhibition fight. Ended up going against my record saying it was 135, but the guy, we literally fought at 145. So after that, I was just like, screw this. I'm fighting 125. I'm about down to 125. Especially if this guy's going to eventually drop down to 35. This is how big these guys are going to be here on out pretty much. And I was like, I do have the strength. I do have the endurance. But that extra body weight does wear and tear on you, and it tires you out in the later rounds. So I'm like, screw it. I might as well be a bigger 25er.
You brought up your fight in Switzerland for Strength and Honor championships. That was a complete disaster, that fight. Your opponent came in overweight, and also the fight, a lot of people say that you should have got the decision there. A lot of people feel like you were ripped off in that fight. What was that whole experience like? What were your thoughts on that whole ordeal?
It was total bullshit. I could say that.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, let it fly.
Yeah. What happened is the round I see he won was the first round. And in the first round, he kicked me in the nuts twice. And the second time he kicked me in the nuts, the ref took a point. The second round, I totally destroyed him. It was a 10-8 round. The third round, it was close again, but I finished the last on top. And all he did was really hold me. He tried to take me down. He took me down twice the whole fight. I reversed him 3 times in the fight. I controlled the pace. I controlled pretty much where it was at. Like I said, he was 7-8 pounds overweight. Weighing like 143. It was just a crock of shit. And I didn't fly out there just to say, oh, I'm not gonna fight. Give my money. No, I want to fight and give my money, man. This is bullshit all the way around. And they were like, okay, we'll make an exhibition, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's do that. And next, it's the last at bantamweight. I'm like, the guy didn't even make weight. How's it even at bantamweight?
Right. Now, the fight, although it was an exhibition, it still shows up on your record. And besides that fight, the other 2 fights that you've had post being in the UFC, you looked great. You've gotten 2 stoppages, both by knockout, in those 2 fights that you fought for legacy, besides that fight in Switzerland. Now, obviously, the situation is crazy. The guy came in way overweight, and you should have won the fight, but it still shows up on your record as an L. So, how big of a setback was this? Or is it not a setback, you just got to go back and look at the tape?
You know what? It was a setback for my UFC comeback, of course, because Sean and them guys want me to win, and a loss is supposed to put the hinder on what I'm doing. So that's why I have to fight one more fight. I think if that loss was a W, I'd be back in the UFC right now.
I see.
It'd be 3 fights in a row, but it is what it is. It's a learning experience, and it's another year. I got to get back in there.
Now, I just want to talk a little bit about your UFC run. You were 0-3 in the UFC. You lost another fight. You had a 4-fight losing streak. One of those fights was in the WC against Demetrius Johnson. The record on paper doesn't look very good because you lost 4 fights in a row. But if you look at the names of who you fought, everyone is a great fighter. You got Johnson, who's champion at flyweight right now. You got Brian Bowles, who's a former WC bantamweight champion. You have Brad Pickett, who's a highly ranked guy, and then you have Alex Caceres, who's getting ready to fight Uriah Faber, and he's one of the top guys in the world. So on paper, if you look at it, it's not that bad, but it's still 4 losses. I'm just curious, during that time, what went wrong for you?
Do you know what? My Demetrius Johnson fight, I came back. I had shoulder surgery, so I was 13 months out.
Right.
I was injured again, partial neck injury, so I wasn't able to train right. Don't get me wrong, I give Demetrius Johnson all the credit in the world. The guy's a great fighter, he's a great champion. All my fights I wasn't 100%, Brian Bowles, my neck was jacked. I finally messed up my neck completely. I had to get C5, C6 neck fusion. As soon as I was done, the UFC said, hey, you're fighting Brad Pickett. And I said, hey, can you push it back at least 1 month? They're like, no, we want you on this card. If we push it back, you probably won't fight Pickett. You'll probably fight someone else. It'll probably be a little bit later down the road. I'm like, I can't wait. Let's do it. I ain't backing down from anybody. I said, I'll fight Pickett. And I think I just put so much pressure on my last 2 fights before him, I kind of mind-fucked myself. I showed up for the Pickett fight, but I put so much emphasis in trying to finish the fight and making it an exciting fight. I wasn't thinking about winning. And then when I fought Caceres, I was thinking so much, don't get caught on a stupid triangle, don't get caught on a stupid triangle. I wasn't fighting like myself. I wasn't on my game. I think the injuries, and then after my 2 injuries and then my losses, I put too much pressure on myself to perform. I know I'm a great fighter, and I needed a mind coach, I guess. A lot of these guys have a sports therapist. I probably needed a sports therapist at the time, but I think that's just bananas. But in actuality, and I should have probably had one.
Are you seeing one now? Okay.
I'm perfect now. I spoke to the crowd and the aliens, and I'm good.
I see. Now, one of those fights I wanted to talk about, the Brian Bowles fight, the second fight. The first fight you lost at in the first round at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. You fought him in the WC. The second fight you fought him in the UFC. You lost same submission, same time. Obviously, it was a bad loss because you lost the rematch to someone who had beaten you in the past, but how much more did it sting that you lost the exact same way, the exact same round, and the exact same time? Like, when you heard that, were you like, what the hell is this?
No, it is what it is. I'm not making excuses, but, the first time my mom was very sick. I was really worried about her, so my mind was 10% to the fight. Like 9 times out of 10, I'll beat him. It don't show on paper, but 9 times out of 10, if my mind's right, I'll destroy him. And then my second time, like I said, my neck, I had not done guillotine defense. I had done no choke defense because my neck was so jacked,
Right.
And I couldn't defend. But I'm not giving no excuses. The guy beat me. He's a former world champion. He did what he had to do. He won the fight, plain and simple. Life is life. You're going to have obstacles in your life. It's just how you deal with it later on, and learning experiences. He beat me, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Definitely. Now, it definitely makes sense. Obviously, we know it's been well documented that you've had these neck problems, but in the fights, all these losses that you've had have been by choke. So, was it possible that in these fights, when someone got a hold of your neck, you might have tapped or went out a little bit sooner than you did because of the injuries? Like, was that something that ever crossed your mind? Like if I get in this move, I don't want something even more serious to happen to me. Did that ever cross your mind?
No, I didn't tap. I kind of tapped it. I went out with Skit. I went out with Bowles. It was just my defense. I could not defend it because once you got around my neck, I couldn't pull out. I couldn't turn my neck. I couldn't do nothing. I was just stuck. Another prime example of a guy who's just like me. You could probably ask Tito Ortiz. Ask him about his neck. Say, hey, when you had your neck injury, could you defend chokes? He'd probably say, hell no. Someone got around your neck, you're done.
Right.
And so it was just a lot of stuff. It was do a lot of submission defense for guillotine chokes, rear naked chokes, and it was like one of those things. It was my Achilles heel at the time. Now I'm fixed, and I haven't got close to getting caught in a triangle or anything, or even a rear naked or a guillotine choke.
Mm-hmm. Now, I saw an interview that you did a while back. I don't remember who it was for, but you seemed very angry. It was before your first fight in Legacy. They were talking about you making this quote comeback, trying to rebuild and eventually make it back to the UFC. And you seemed very angry when you got that release from the UFC. Was there a lot of anger?
You know what, there was, because my management fell apart. My management took money from me. My management was opposed. My goal was like, all right, let's get this fight together. Let's put everything back together and let's get back July. So my projected goal was to be back in the UFC last July.
Mm-hmm.
So my management didn't do jack fuck, and so I went and got on the Bachelor show because Greg asked me. I went and got my contract with the Legacy. I did all the other stuff to get my career going again. And so, yeah, there's a lot of animosity towards my ex-management. Me personally, they fucked the whole year out of my life. Because I didn't fight from July to May. Mm-hmm. Why should I be on the shop that long when my manager's, we're in negotiations, we're doing this, we're not giving us, when he got this fucking head up his ass, use my language, beat that. But, it was total bullshit the whole time. And I figured that out. I found out. I exposed them, and sooner or later, all the other fighters exposed them. And I took the initiative in my own career, and I never looked back.
Mm-hmm. So it was more the manager side rather than just being back out on the regional circuit. You really didn't have any anger towards yourself or towards the UFC. It was just solely on the management.
Yeah. It's not the UFC's fault that I can't have fights. It's not. Actually, it's my fault because I trust my management.
Right.
But that was the biggest thing. if my management would have done its job, I should have been back in the UFC within a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 2 years out, you know? Mm-hmm. Now in July, I'll be out of the UFC for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see.
And I believe I'm one of the top fighters in the world, and I just believe it. I'm a top fighter in the world, you know? And you put me against anybody, I'm going to give him a fight.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, how many fights left on your contract with Legacy?
I have one more after this one.
Mm-hmm. I see.
But, you know, as long as I do what I have to do, hopefully I get the call. And, I don't pray for it. I don't want it. But if someone gets injured, throw me in.
Mm-hmm.
Throw me in. I don't care who it is. 135, 125. Just throw me in.
Mm-hmm.
I would gladly be the late replacement. That's how I got in last time, man. Scott Jorgensen had his opponent. His opponent got injured. I jumped in. I won. I'll do it again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, when you exited the UFC, what were the main things that you thought you needed to correct? Was it more just health-wise? You know, I need to get healthy. I need to stay healthy. I need to, find a way to correct these health problems that I'm having with my neck. Or were there a lot of technical things that you thought, I need to switch this and this and this if I'm going to make it back there? Anything like that?
I did. I evolved my game. I adjusted some other stuff. I brought my wrestling back into it. For the longest time, I could not wrestle. I could not do anything because of my neck. My wrestling is my bread and butter. That's what I am known for. No one knows that. That's what got me going early on my career. That's why I knocked everybody out. They were so worried about my high-paced scramble and on-the-ground situations. They were waiting for takedowns, and I was hitting them with punches and knocking them out. And so now I'm able to take people down again. I didn't show it in my last fight, but I can take people down. I'm not afraid to take a shot. I'm not afraid to do stuff. I'm not afraid for someone to try to catch me in a guillotine choke. I'm not afraid for a triangle choke because my neck's strong now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, there's two sets of guys when they lose fights and get cut from the big show. There's two sets. There's the one set guy, who maybe had a great run and then fell on hard times and then got released and is trying to be the guy that he once was. Then there's the other guy who had a good run, lost some fights, got released, and is trying to come back to the big show as a way better guy than he ever was. Where are you? Are you the guy who wants to get back to the guy who absolutely murdered Marcus Galvao, or are you the guy who's trying to get back to just being a better version than you ever been?
I'm here to be a murderer again. I'm here to kill people. I'm here to do it tactically. I'm here to set it up and take you out. Before it was just craziness. It was in your face. I'm gonna put you out. Now I'm gonna be a sniper. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna set stuff up and hurt you. Prime example. Look at Robbie Lawler.
Mm-hmm.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler. When he was younger, he was ruthless in every face. Now he's tactical, and he's just free.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Same thing. I'm coming back to be just as scared. Everything to take for my power. Ain't no one want to stand strong with me.
Right. Absolutely. I saw a video you were on. I think it was I don't remember what show it was. It was a local show. It was like a New Mexico talk show. I don't know what exactly it was. You were talking about one of your upcoming fights for Legacy. I think it was either the first one you had or the second one. I don't remember exactly, but they showed a clip of the Galvao fight. Is that a fight that can be topped? Like, that was just such a savage beating you laid on him. It was very quick, rapid fire. You were able to get him out of the cage very quickly and picked up a very big win. Is that something that can be topped, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think everything has a special moment in time,
Mm-hmm.
And I know I can do it. I have more than one knockout like that. I have a lot of them one-punch knockouts. And that one, just the one that was just on live TV, and it was so brutal, and and it's still talked about to this day, and I know I could do it again. Just like I said, I have a God-given gift where I could hit really hard. But any given moment, I could put someone out. So at any moment, I could make someone a highlight reel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they showed in my last 2 fights on Legacy, with the I can't remember his name, but I popped him right in the ear hole, and he fell on face planet.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, Legacy did a show not too long ago. I I can't remember what number it was, but it was very recent. They did a show in New Mexico. You're a guy who likes to stay very active. You made that pretty clear. You want to get as many fights in as you can. Were you disappointed that you couldn't fight in your home state? You're born and bred in New Mexico. I think the only time you ever lived outside New Mexico is when you went to college and when you lived in California. But you're born and raised in New Mexico. Was it disappointing having a show back there and you not being on that card?
It was. It hurt. I'm not. It wasn't Mick. Mick did. Of course, it was Legacy, but Mick was not. It was a co-promoter on there, so it was actually the promoter that was in New Mexico that was left up to make the card. And I thought I was going to be on the card, and the numbers didn't match. He didn't want to give the numbers that Mick gave him, and he was trying to lowball me, and I'm not going to devalue myself, I would have loved to fight in front of my home crowd. It's been like over 6 years, probably even longer. And everybody always asks me, when am I going to fight back in New Mexico? And, even the UFC's in here next week, and everybody's asking me, you're going to be on the UFC card? You're going to be on the UFC card? I'm like, no, man, I'm not on it. And that's the one I'm wishing for someone to get injured for. I'm like, throw me in. But, no, it would mean everything for me to fight in front of my home crowd again. But, like I said, it's life. It is what it is. Keep on moving forward. And, hopefully this UFC event is successful, and it brings a lot of people, and they want to come back, and I'll be on the next card here.
I knew there had to be a good reason, because it seems like a no-brainer. You're a guy who's been in the big shows, and you're an exciting fighter to watch, and you're from there, born and raised there. So I knew it had to be a different situation. I knew it couldn't be on Legacy's side, because I know Mick Maynard's a great promoter and a great businessman, and it makes all the sense in the world to have you on that card. So I knew there had to be some situation going on with why you weren't on that card. But anyways, Damacio, you have an event coming up June 6th. It's a charity event. I'm just curious. This is for what is it? Child cancer, correct? Is that what's?
It's for kids with cancer awareness. It's just for research to help children with cancer to develop new methods of curing cancer for children.
I see.
I've done it before. This is my second time doing it. This is my first time holding the event. I've been growing my hair out for 18 months, and my hair is probably about 10 and a half inches maybe now.
And you're going to be donating that hair to Locks of Love or a similar organization like that, or is it just...
Yeah, St. Broderick's, they just do the cash donations. They just want the money, the donations for the research, the proper research for kids with cancer, and then Locks of Love, I'll more likely donate to them, because they will take it and they will turn my hair into a masterpiece of hair.
And this was the plan for you growing it out, because I was reading some things, and it could be either the plan or somebody was like, you know what, you got to cut this hair. We don't like it. So this was the reason why you cut your hair. It's not like people don't like it, and then we're gonna make you cut it off, and we might as well donate it and give it to a good cause. Like was it the plan, or was there another circumstance of why this event is being put on and you getting rid of your hair?
It was a plan. I did it before. What was crazy is I did it in 2007, I think,
right.
And I grew it out.
Right.
And the ironic thing is right before I cut my hair, I found out my mom had cancer. And so I cut my hair after finding out prior to my mom having cancer. I cut my hair. My mom has passed away from cancer. It's almost been 5 years now. And about a year and a half ago, I decided to do it again, and it's been a plan. And so I might do it one more time after this. It just takes a long time.
Right. I thought it was like something where you were getting back to your roots, because in the beginning of your career you had the long hair. I remember when you fought Genki Sudo, you had the braids back there. Your hair was very long. I thought it was something like a symbol, like, okay, I got released from the UFC, and now I'm gonna start over again. I thought you were growing out the hair for that. That's what I thought you were doing, because it's been a long time since you.
That too as well. You know what I'm saying? Just back to my roots. And that's what I thought too. Is like, I'm from my hair out, and right when I cut my hair, that's when everything came back together. Everybody's like, don't cut your hair. It's like Samson in the Bible. Don't cut your hair.
Right.
You lose your power, But you know what? I gained power when I cut my hair last time, and I feel the same way again. You know, it's crossed my mind. It's a thought in my mind. And it's kind of like a new rebirth again too, as well. In the same process of helping someone out.
Now, what's your hair going to go back to? Is it going to go back to the mohawk thing you used to have with the designs in it, or is it going to be just a straight buzz cut? You know, what are we talking about? The hair looking like?
This probably going to be a buzz cut because I got to be bald.
Right.
My hair's going to go back in a week.
Right.
But I haven't totally decided how I'm going to do my hair yet.
Oh, I see. And what about the beard? What's happening there?
My girlfriend just gave me the eye, like, don't shave it.
Oh. Oh, I see.
No, I haven't decided yet. I'll probably take it off too as well.
I see. Damacio, a couple more questions before I let you go, and I really appreciate you being so liberal with your time, but a couple more questions here. When you were fighting in the WC, and even a little bit before that, when you were sponsored by Tap Out, you had these great New Mexico shorts that you used to always wear, and it was kind of a trademark. You're no longer sponsored by Tap Out anymore, but is there any possible way that you can find a company to make these shorts? Because it was kind of like a trademark. It was, you know, something that we come to associate you with. So is there any possible chance that these shorts could make a comeback?
I'm going to try. You know, I love those shorts. I think they're a great design to develop. I want to bring them back. You know, you're correct. It is kind of like my trademark. Everybody associates me with my shorts, the yellow shorts. And I want to bring them back. You know, and I think my manager's up to it as well. And he's figuring out ways who's going to make them, how we're going to do it. And so, yeah, it's a big thing. I do want to bring them back.
Now, you have a lot of tattoos. I'm just curious, do you know how many you have, or have you lost count?
I say I have 5, possibly 6. So my limbs, my torso, and my back, so like 5.
Oh, I see. And tell us about some of them. Obviously, from what I've read about you, a lot of these have a lot of great meaning in your life, so tell us about some of them.
Well, of course, I have my mom on my chest, and then I have Jesus on my other pec on my, and the Virgin Mary as well, you know. Just religious purposes, you know, and of course my mom's always going to be closest to my heart. And I have flames on my legs, always, it's telling a story saying you're willing to walk through hell, but you're never going to actually be there, you know. You always walk that line, but you never let it consume you.
I see. Now, not too long ago, I read an article about how you were trying to start your own promotion. You were thinking about getting into the promoting side of things. Did that ever take off? I can't remember the name of it. I think it was Southwest Cage Fighting or something like that. Did you ever put on any shows?
No, you know what? Just the big politics. Other people undercutting me. It just got kind of nasty. I didn't want to deal with that, and I had other people. Oh, you don't know how to deal with this. You're just a fighter. I'm like, screw you. I'm a better businessman than you think. You know? People don't think that I have good business aspects, but I really do. And you know, I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm not gonna waste my time right now in the fight promotion. I want to build fighters. I want to give young fighters an opportunity. Opportunities I have are greater opportunities. But I really got to focus 110% on my career. And you know, when I'm done, I'll try to do that. But it was just a lot of politics issues, and people pulled the rug out from under me. People hating nearby, and people hating from far away as well.
I see. Damacio, last question. I've always been curious. How did you get your nickname, the Angel of Death?
I think it was my second fight in Canada against Terry Quinville. We were sharing a locker room with another Canadian guy from Alberta, Canada. So he was an A-er. One of those guys.
Right.
And I went out there, and Terry Quinville was talking all this smack, saying I got lucky that I knocked out his training partner and all this other crap. And I was like, all right, cool. I hit him with a left body shot. Took him down. He tried to hit me with the armbar. I picked him up in the air, and I just rampaged on him on his head. And then when I went back to the locker room, the guy's like, hey, bro, hey, that was crazy. He was like you were like the angel of death, bro. You like killed the guy, dropped him on his head, hey. And I was like,
That's awesome. That's a great
Another
story.
coach that was sharing the locker room with me that named me that. I took it with me.
Yeah, I see. Don't you miss the WEC? Don't you miss Joe Martinez? Because you're probably my favorite guy for him to announce. Like, the way he announces your name is just great. Don't you miss that guy?
I like Joe Martinez. Joe is cool. Every time I run into him, I talk to him. I ask him how he's doing, what shows he's calling. Every time I see him, I like Joe. Joe is a good guy. I do. I just miss my voice being called, my name being called in the big show. You know, and all in all, that's the one I miss, you know. But, yeah, no, Joe is the man, and I do miss that.
Right. Absolutely. Damacio, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
You know what? I just want to thank everybody that's helped me out. I don't know my sponsor right now. But, you know, I just, you know, look forward for 2014, look forward for 2015. You know, I'm going to be back in the UFC. I'm going to represent, and I'm going to go for a title run.
Damacio, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it, and best of luck coming up on June 13th.